Hello, everybody. This is Catholic Dad, episode number 193, New York State's vaccine exemption law. I don't know if everybody's seen it on the news today, but New York State essentially has made it illegal to have any kind of religious exemption for vaccine mandates. Here I am, Catholic Dad, and I actually do have some religious qualms with vaccinations because a large portion of the vaccinations come from a fetal stem cell line. I don't know if you know that. And in Europe, they developed a large number of the vaccines through a single fetus. Back in the 1950s and 60s, they used the stem cells from the fetus and then essentially made some embryonic culture that they could make vaccines in. And this stem cell line and this fetal-derived vaccine is alive and well today and in multiple vaccines. Now, that's annoying, and I don't think the state should be able to make you do anything that makes you violate your moral conscience. And I think everybody who's listening to this probably should agree. But here's the deal: if they can make you take a certain medicine when they feel as if you're broken, just think about what else they're able to make you do. I mean, a vaccine's a vaccine, and I don't give my kids vaccines for several reasons. One of which was a pretty significant reaction one of my kids had to two separate sets of vaccines with high fevers and neurologic changes, and actually came out slightly different. That's why I don't necessarily use vaccines. And the medical community was pretty specific about how they didn't like me questioning the vaccinations that my kids were getting, and therefore I just walked away from the whole thing. But then I did a lot of research on it, and there are actually very good reasons not to get vaccines. Number one, they've never been proven to actually make life better. They've never been proven that kids are healthier when they have that vaccines. They've never been proven they actually lower death rates. There's never been double-blind placebo studies with regards to virtually any vaccine. And beyond that, there are some religious problems or moral objections people could honestly have. But if the state thought it was in the vested interest of the common good to get vaccines, what if the state thought it was in the vested interest to get birth control? This is not something that's out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, this has been done all around the world, time and time again. It's actually been done in this country with forced sterilization, forced like chemical castration on people. This is something that is not out of the realm of possibilities. And oh, by the way, why wouldn't you force the people who you disagree with to be sterilized? Because the common good means different things to different people. To me, it means ultimately the principles of subsidiarity and living for the moral good. To other people, it means like crushing your opponent or crushing the people that you're trying to oppress. And so, if the state can force you to take a vaccination against a parental authority, then they actually own your child, and you do not own your child. I mean, is your child intrinsically broken without government-approved medication? I doubt it. In fact, I think most people would agree that their child's perfectly fine without government-approved medication. But beyond that, what about government-approved sterilization procedures, government-approved hospitalization procedures, government-approved? I mean, there's the Jehovah's Witnesses in America that don't take blood products. We're going to start telling them that they have to actually take blood products against their moral conscience, even though there's really no definitive medical reason other than a religious reason that they don't take blood products. And so I'll tell you, for the people out there that think you can force people to do things against their moral conscience, woe to you, and beware. I'll tell you what, because like the world, ever since recorded error, the world is very good at persecuting religious people. It's very good at crushing religious people and persecuting them and killing them. And Christ even said the world's going to hate you for loving me. The world hated me before they hated you. And if you live a Christian way and you live separate from the world is going to persecute you. If you have moral conscience against certain government-derived medications, you should be able to have the freedom and liberty to exercise your moral conscience. And everybody will say, well, you're placing other people at risk. Are you? Seriously, I have a large family, nobody's vaccinated, and I know a lot of large families where nobody's vaccinated. These children are some of the healthiest and most robust children I know, with the least amount of chronic illnesses and the least amount of illnesses at all. I don't know how anybody believes that these people are putting anybody at risk. But beyond that, be careful, everybody. Be careful if you're listening in New York, your state sucks. I used to live there. And I'll tell you what, if you believe by force of law you can coerce the people against their moral conscience, you're in for a damn dogfight eventually. And I'll tell you what, it starts with vaccines, but you guys are going to push harder, and you're going to push harder, and you're going to push harder, and you're going to try to make people violate their moral conscience with regards to where their tax dollars go, with regards to what they have to participate in. I mean, I'm a physician, and there's some of you out there that want me to participate in abortion. Well, I'll tell you what, you're in for a gunfight if you try to make me do that, because there's no way that's going to happen. But beyond that, just watch it, because if you think you can coerce and force people to do what you want, you're a tyrant. That's what you are. In New York State, you display tyranny all the time. You've done it a couple times this year, and stop doing it. Because and I wish more Catholic politicians would step up, because New York's completely loaded with them, and say, listen, big corporate's not going to drive our policy in this state. It's actually going to be the people and their moral conscience that's going to drive the policy of New York State. And so please write to your state senators and your legislators, knock on their doors, make phone calls, aggravate them a little bit, because this is unacceptable. This is Catholic Dad making you think about it. Please like or subscribe. Pray the Daily Rosary, live a sacramental life, and God bless you all.